Hello, all my hot sluts. Welcome back. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Garrett, and we're your hosts of Modern Gays. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about some couples who have shown us that love has no boundaries, whether it's monogamous, open, or polyamorous. From Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor's timeless romance to RuPaul and George LeBar's long-lasting open relationship, we're exploring what makes these partnerships work and why they continue to inspire us. We're talking about the ups and downs and in-betweens that make their love stories so real and relatable. So you know what's not relatable at all?
What?
The breakdancer who represented Australia in the 2024 Olympics in Paris.
That was cringe.
I actually feel really bad for her because I feel like the whole world is making fun of her.
Yes.
But it's just that we're so disappointed that was the best representation. Listen, you are a dancer.
I am a dancer.
You're a professionally trained dancer.
I still am. I'm going to claim that I am a dancer.
And you don't break dance.
I don't break dance.
But you can vogue. And you can do a split flip and a trick.
Right.
Dance, I think, is a competitive sport.
I
get it. I mean, maybe drag is not, but you know what is? Voguing. Like voguing could
drag
actually
is not
be more
a
fun.
contact sport.
Vogue could be fun. Like if breakdancing is a thing, voguing should be a thing. So I think just add dance into the mix next year.
Absolutely. Dance should be in there.
Yeah, Dancing with the Stars, right. Olympic version.
Or ballet. Ballet would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get into today's episode. I just want to say thank you again to everyone who tunes into Modern Gays every week and supports the show. Thank you for joining the conversation already on Instagram and Threads. And if you haven't already, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you are listening to this show. It helps us so much and it gets our visibility up as well as reach new listeners. So thanks again.
Us gays, we just know how to do stuff.
Well, what about modern gays?
That's easy. Modern gays do everything. Before we get into today's episode where we discuss these iconic celebrity love stories and their dynamics.
Yes.
Give me 2 words.
Yes, 2 words.
That you would say describes our marriage.
Our marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 words.
Only 2.
Okay, I'm going to try to be quick about that.
That come to mind. Don't make it nasty.
Okay.
Girl. Quick.
Loving.
And
exciting.
Okay. I was going to say similar.
Okay, what would you say?
I was going to say curious and spontaneous.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like we...
What do you mean curious?
Well, I feel like we can ask each other a lot of different curious questions in life and in different scenarios and in different topics or different world events that go on. And we can always strike up a conversation that keeps one another curious and engaged.
With one another. Okay,
yeah,
I get that.
And it keeps our bond... Like, I mean, we have a whole podcast where we're constantly exploring different topics that are curious.
That we may not talk on our own. Like
right.
They come up on this show.
Yeah. And spontaneous because we do a lot of spontaneous shit, girl. Like travel, we go out.
We're always up for it.
Yeah, always up for an adventure.
Yeah, that's why I thought like, exciting was really good because I'm always excited. Like when we're together, I'm excited to hang out with you. I'm excited to just for us to do our own thing. I'm excited. Like that's just constant excitement. That's never gone away.
Right, I agree.
And loving it because I always feel very loved and very supported.
I make a conscious effort to make you feel loved.
Yes.
And appreciated.
Yes.
Okay.
I was really inspired to do this show about celebrity love because I love representation.
You love love?
I love love.
You love love?
And we were at a friend's house last night for their birthday and we were having a conversation with another friend and we were talking about this show actually. And we just started talking about how we want to do a better job and we do our best job we possibly can with representation with what we have as our own gay voice and the power that we have. But we also want to lift other people up. And that's why we have so many people on the show.
And celebrate other stories.
So it made me start to think about, what we see in media and television and shows and the relationships and the representation, whether that be gay, queer, bi, poly, like there's all these dating shows that we love to watch now.
Correct.
On
Couple to Thruple.
Yeah, like Daddy TV and Out TV and like the whole WOW network. Like there's so much good content out there now. And
that good content matters because when we grew up, we didn't have dating shows or love shows like that.
Yeah, very, very, very few, if any.
If any. And we would probably not even see a public relationship or a marriage that was LGBTQ plus friendly.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about relationships, and we talk about our past dating history and like what's worked, what doesn't work for us, and the trends. Like even our last episode was really about slowmance and the idea of really taking it slow. Because I think today there's just so much going on. Like it gives us all anxiety. So you have to take it slow.
Go slow.
But there's really great couples out there that I feel that have shown like a great testament to a love story.
Name them.
I will name them. I will name them. But I think that, that's what inspires me. Like I'm a hopeless romantic.
You really are. I think that's where we both aligned from the very beginning. Was I think we were both hopeless, fairy tale ending romantic human beings.
I was obviously raised with my family upbringing, really instilling a lot of value in family. And in that, I really also wanted to get married and have kids and like have that white picket fence, situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had another side to myself that was more like I wanted to explore and travel and go on adventures. And I have another more like sexual side. And like I also didn't have to prioritize kids obviously so quickly early on in life.
Right.
And there was a lot less pressure for me to build a family once I came out.
You see, I agree, because I thought until maybe I was 21, because, in Australia, you get your driver's license at 18, you can start going out, clubbing, whatever, living your life. So you have between 18 to 21 to really explore and go out and be a slut or whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Have crazy nights out. So by the time I hit 21, I was like, okay, well, I've gone out, I've done everything I wanted to do. I moved to LA, I think at 22. And I think LA for me repainted and reshifted my perspective on the different types of marriages and the different types of relationships that were out there.
Why? Because you saw more gay relationships?
I mean, I was on Grindr and I used to see married couples on Grindr, and I was like,
oh,
whoa,
yeah,
how does this work?
Right.
Like I was exposed to a lot of different scenarios.
Different types of relationships.
Yeah, than what I was in Melbourne.
Right.
And I was like, well, what do I want? And it was nice because as a gay couple or as a queer couple, you really do have the reign and the boundaries to set within your relationship dynamic about what could work for you as a couple.
Right.
You don't have to follow a heteronormative, storyline.
Right. But at the same time, if you want to follow what would be traditionally considered a heteronormative storyline, you can have much more freedom to claim that and not feel the judgment, that might, or the limitation that might have been pushed upon you
100%
as you were growing up.
Point is, I'm saying it's 2024. There's different types of relationships out there. There's different types of marriages out there. And it's not really a one fits all anymore.
Okay, so let's talk about them.
Let's go ahead.
So I've done a little research here.
Yeah, and tell me what you found.
And two of my favorite actresses of all times, actors who are incredible and have so many wonderful projects, are Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor. And they have been together since 2015, which is around 9 years, like coming close to, basically a decade.
Almost a decade. Their
relationship is monogamous, and they are very candid with their relationship and talk about it a lot in interviews and conversations that they have on the red carpet.
Right.
And they've been celebrated for their deep emotional and intellectual connection. And even though that they're 32 years apart.
32 years.
32.
Wow.
That's a big age gap.
Wow.
They defy societal expectation.
They're defying gravity like wicked,
I think that they focus mostly on their mutual admiration and respect. And they always talk about the respect and admiration that they have in one another as creatives, as performers, of people within the arts.
I think you have to admire your partner.
They really put each other up on pedestals.
Listen, if you don't admire your partner and you don't see good in them, then what are you going to see? Like truth. Because you need to look at your partner and see, I mean, we all have flaws, right? No one's perfect, but you need to really, the good needs to outweigh the bad. Because if you're not admiring your partner, then you're going to be on the way out, girl.
I think that's one way that I think that these long-term relationships work is with admiration.
Absolutely.
Like And in this, case, Sarah has been quoted to say, "What I love most about Holland is her ability to be fully herself in a world that tries to tell us to be something else." So it's also that they look at each other with so much admiration because they're so authentically them.
Right.
They're super strong, talented, acclaimed professionals within the arts and entertainment.
And Sarah openly has said that she admires her authenticity.
Correct. And like in a world and in a place, obviously, where you are, potentially not celebrated to be queer or gay,
That's right.
especially early on in their careers.
Correct.
As well as being together in a lesbian relationship.
Right.
And on top of that, being a woman in the industry who obviously gets paid less.
Correct.
And has to fight through gender equality.
Absolutely.
Like, to have that admiration and support of one another, I think within the relationship it's just gold. It's just solid gold.
Winning gold.
Yeah. Like they win the Olympics right then
Check.
and there. And they are definitely relationship goals for a lot of people.
Well, yeah, to have a 32-year age gap, be where they're at, have the love that they have is very admirable.
Because we have a 9-year age gap.
We have a 9-year age gap.
And I love your sense of, fun and youth and like adventure. And I love that you have also like an older soul, like where you
I definitely have an older soul.
I think we're pretty much the same age.
Well, I just love a zaddy. you just fit the box of my zaddy.
I actually wanted a zaddy, so I just like converted you into one.
You really did.
So
you worked your magic, you bloody asshole.
Okay. Next couple is Jonathan Van Ness and Mark Peacock.
Oh, you hot sluts.
Hot slut. Jonathan always like starts or ends like his content with like just owning your sexuality.
He does. And we all have a little bit about inner slut inside of us. Let's be honest.
Hey, I mean, own it.
Own it. Be authentic.
They've been together for 5 years around, and they're monogamous, and Jonathan Van Ness and Mark's relationship is rooted in shared values and advocacy. So they're both like huge LGBTQIA advocates. Their mutual support for like that whole personal and professional development as a queer artist is so strong. They're a powerful example of how you can be different and own your difference in so much that you just attract the right kind of love that is perfect for you.
You really hit that on the head because because when you own what you truly believe in and what you think, you do attract those types of people.
Yeah.
Right? Like your vibe attracts your tribe. And I truly believe that. And I think the older I get, the more I want to advocate for things.
Yes.
Like when I'm younger, I don't really think about it. But as I get older, I'm like wanting to stand up and fight for things a lot more.
Right. Yeah. You become less selfish and more selfless and like knowing that you can really attract goodness when you stand up for other people in a way that brings them goodness too.
Yeah, especially for our community and the queer community. Like whenever I hear things or I see things on Instagram now that are homophobic or transphobic or just phobic in general, or people are just assholes. Yeah. I call it out.
I really love that they champion other people so fiercely, so passionately.
My commonality is whenever he says you hot slut, I just know he's talking to me.
About you.
Yeah.
Okay. So next couple is an Olympian.
Oh,
Tom Daley.
We love Olympians.
And Justin Lance Black. They've been together since 2013. So over a decade, they're in a monogamous relationship and they've built a life centered around their family and their kids being a focal point. They've been quoted to say, our kids keep us grounded and united. Tom has really underscored the importance of family within the relationship. So what is cool about that whole representation within the Olympics, within media and entertainment?
We're seeing his kids at the Olympics while he was competing.
You see Tom Daley and everyone talks about him in his Speedos and like how he's like this like handsome young guy and he's objectified and everyone just like love. But at the same time, you've also seen him grow up because he's been in this game for a long time. And then you realize, oh, he's married and he has children.
That's right. He's got two
building
kids.
he's building a family. And it's just so freaking important to
Yes.
see that,
Yes.
you know, to be like, you can live your dreams. You can,
They both can live their dreams.
they can both have their individual careers and build this family. And like, this isn't like an easy thing to do. Both Dustin and Tom, like they're young dads.
They're young dads. They're cool dads.
They're cool dads and they have huge careers.
Yep.
And I feel like they're both incredible role models for their children
Absolutely.
and future children of however many of the kids they may decide to have.
Yeah.
So another couple that has kids and also is a really great representation of family is Matt Bomer and Simon Halls. And they've been together since the late 2000s, like about 15, 16 years. And they're in a monogamous relationship and they've been both balancing successful careers, raising 3 kids.
Wow.
Matt Bomer has really owned his career as an out actor and has built such a strong following
Yep.
that is really inspiring. He's even been quoted to say, "My husband and I have a lot of respect for each other, and that's been the cornerstone of a relationship. It's not easy, but we've made it work because we're committed to each other and our family."
Yeah.
I always say, like, you need to have respect, you need to have trust,
And you need to be open.
and you need to have that kind of like,
As in like an open conversation. Not like an open hole or an open marriage. Like
you need to have an open mind.
open mind, open heart, and open soul, and open.
Yeah, you need to like, be vulnerable and open,
Yes.
like to your person.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But seriously, like, but
Serious.
uniquely to him and what
Yes.
they had said was respect.
Mm.
You know, I can't imagine what it would feel like if you're in a relationship and you don't respect one another.
Oh, but there's the door, Henny.
Like,
You don't respect me?
that's the basis core of any relationship that is like loving or not, or platonic or romantic. It's respect.
If you take disrespect, you don't even respect yourself. Because
No,
if you're allowing somebody to disrespect you, then you're disservicing yourself.
A 15-year relationship with 3 kids.
Right.
I'm sure they've gotten in a lot of fights.
I'm sure
with
they've gotten in a lot of
international
fights.
careers.
And I'm sure that they've also gotten through a lot of humps, and I'm sure they've also copped a lot of hate and backlash on social media with their 3 kids.
And when you have a disagreement,
Yeah.
you need to have respect with one another.
You need to have a conversation.
and have that conversation and talk it out. And I think that's really incredible and definitely a inspiration for anyone that's looking for a long-term relationship.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my next couple is actually a controversial situation.
Oh, we love controversial. Go.
Well, it's not controversial to us because we are obsessed with him. And it's RuPaul.
Love RuPaul.
And George LeBar.
Okay.
They've been together for 30 years. So
Wow.
they don't have a 30-year
30
age
years.
difference.
They've
It's
been
actually been together for
years.
30 years.
Wow.
And their type of relationship is open. So RuPaul and George have maintained a long relationship that has been marked by a healthy balance of independence and togetherness. And he's been quoted to say he doesn't care about the show business side of things at all. He could care less. This is RuPaul talking about George, highlighting how their differing interests actually has complemented their relationship. They've obviously been together for 3 decades.
Right.
And they have that mutual respect and love and care for one another. And they have life partners in each other.
Right.
But open means that they can have potentially a
One night
agreement with each other that is private on how they can open up the relationship, meaning that they could potentially have sexual romance with another person, or they can have a hookup, or they can have, maybe they're dating someone else. I don't know. Like, no one really is in that relationship to know
of course.
the specifics
And
of
no
it.
judgment.
Open means that you are really with that one person, but then you are opening up that relationship in some way. It could be romantic. It could be just sexual. It could be with some very specific rules, or
Got you.
rules. you
Right.
know?
Well, I've also heard an interview with RuPaul when he launched his book, saying that why would he ever rob George of a encounter or a potential sexual experience that maybe he wanted to experience. We all have different types, especially within the queer community. We all have the ability to create what our relationships look like.
Correct.
So yeah, some people are polyamorous. Some people are open. Some people are also monogamous. Some people also have kids within the LGBTQ community inside a family.
Right.
So people,
you can find your
you find your
person,
groove.
You can find your groove. Yeah.
Yeah. And you find what works for you as a couple. We all have needs. We all have sexual needs. We all have physical needs. We have emotional needs, and they need to be met.
Correct.
Every single need.
Yes.
It's not just one or the other. And you need to understand when dating someone what those needs are, and you need to find a balance and a commonality on how to meet those together. As you get older, sex is important, right? And it's one thing, but you really have that bond of going through life together. Like you really become life partners, and you do become best friends, and you have to get along.
Right.
And they're always going to be there when you come home. You're going to go out together. You're going to go on adventures together. You're going to go through life together, and you become companions.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting about their relationship too is that they seem to live two different lives.
Yeah.
With George, he's on his farm or his ranch and doing his thing, and then letting RuPaul just live his life and build his empire.
Right.
And then they kind of come together in their relationship in a really unique way that is personal to them. And George allows RuPaul to just fully be free in that freedom of his career, which obviously has become so iconic and so important and impactful to so many people.
100%.
Another couple that's similar to RuPaul and George who are younger is Zachary Quinto and Miles McMillan. And they have been in an open relationship. I don't know if the whole time, but they've been together for 11 years. And they've talked openly about how their flexibility gives them the key to longevity, which allows both of them to grow individually and together.
Right.
Now, as being a celebrity or an actor or someone in the public eye, I would imagine that's quite difficult. And to navigate that type of relationship probably takes a lot of communication and framework to make it happen. And I don't know if so many people are ready for that.
It's also a very honest conversation to have with your significant other.
Absolutely.
So bringing it back to us, full circle moment, after discussing the different types of marriages and relationships and different dynamics there are.
Not that we've covered all of them.
No, but there are a lot more, right? And they're going to continue to evolve.
Correct.
But my point is, we obviously had a very open discussion at the very beginning of our dating phase about what we wanted in our relationship and what was important to us and how we can find commonality and common ground to make sure we both meet our needs.
Yeah.
And we aligned on those. We are married. We have a monogamous relationship. We want to start having kids one day as well.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just about finding balance, finding harmony, and finding love.
I have been maybe confused earlier on in my life where I've been in relationships and I've not really known what I wanted clear enough to communicate it or to stand up for myself in a way that probably would have made some relationships come to an end a lot faster. And that would have been beneficial for them to come to an end faster.
Right.
But it's important to have these conversations, I think, early on.
Right.
And know what kind of value system you have in place and what's really important for you, as well as, communicating that to your partner.
And I think it's really important to know what you want in your relationship and be really honest with it from the beginning, because if you just agree to the other person's belief system or what they value in a relationship
without communicating your own,
because you're infatuated with them or they're really sexy
and you want to make it work,
but then you're really sabotaging your own needs and your own wants. It's not going to work.
Absolutely.
Because the core of who you really are, deep inside, is always going to come out. Yeah. And it's going to cause conflict.
Absolutely.
And the reason why it's going to happen is because you didn't communicate it from the beginning.
Right. And this is maybe the opposite of slow man. It's you know, because when we talked about before about going slow and just asking about other dynamic things about your life, without getting it too serious. I think that when you are looking for a long-term relationship and you want someone to build a life with in the way that you envision, that you do have to ask these questions up front.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
sometimes that can be a bit abrasive or it could be maybe too much.
Yeah.
But then if that's how you are and how you communicate, then I think that you'll find the right person who appreciates that way of communication too.
And if you're unsure with what you even want, then the only best way to do it is explore. Find someone that's open to exploring it with you and go on the ride together and communicate and be open and be honest and have trust with one another. And you'll either end up together or you'll discover what you actually really want or what you want to find in the next relationship.
Well, I think that you have to go out and like look for inspiration. And that's what I like about these couples. And that's why I wanted to bring our conversation back to these people who are living their truth, they're living authentically, and they've found love and they have built their own unique love story. And you can't really sometimes see it until you see it.
Yes.
And then you know that you can have that too.
Look
and
over
it's important. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So sometimes you got to look over there to realize what you need in here.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you for joining this conversation on Modern Gaze. And until next week, keep building the vibrant life you want by owning your authentic self. Hey everyone, it's Daniel and Garrett from Modern Gaze. You know how we're all about owning your authentic self, right? Well, we found something that's totally in line with that. It's called Homes Decor, spelled with 2 M's. Yeah, like home, but make it French and fabulous. This place is not your average home decor store. It's a vibe.
Picture this, guys. Provocative pillows that start conversations, gay vintage art that's like a time machine to the past, and futuristic drag queen portraits that are just iconic. It's all about expressing you.
And get this, they're offering free international shipping for orders over $200.
Save that money!
So you can be fabulous no matter where you are in the world.
Oh, and because we love you guys, use the code ModernGaze at checkout for a cheeky 10% off. It's like a high five from us to you.
So go ahead, make your space as vibrant as you are. Check out Homes, that's HOMMES, decor.com, and let your home tell your story.